There was once a wise widow who lived deep within a tranquil village nestled amidst rolling hills and fields. Despite her advanced age and humble dwelling, there was a radiant glow about her that drew people in. A glow that seemed to emanate not just from her face, but from her very being. Her laughter echoed like wind chimes in the gentle breeze, and her smile was as constant and comforting as the North Star in the night sky. Now, everyone in the village knew and loved this woman. Children would run to her house after school, eager to share their tales of the day. Villagers would seek her out for advice during times of trouble, and even the local preacher would visit her often, not to teach her, but to learn from her. He would say, "Even in my years of study, I've not come across a soul as serene and joyful as you. What is your secret?" But the old woman would only chuckle, her eyes twinkling with mirth and wisdom, and say, "My dear preacher, my joy is as simple as the sunrise. I greet each new day with open arms, for it is a gift." However, there was one individual in the village who remained skeptical. A young man burdened by worry and doubt, he would scoff at the old woman's apparent bliss. "How can she be so carefree?" he'd ask himself. "Doesn't she have any problems? Doesn't anything ever upset her?" One day, the young man could bear his confusion no longer. He decided to confront the old woman and uncover the secret of her enduring joy. As he walked towards her house, he heard the sound of soft laughter and singing. Pushing the door open, he saw the old woman kneading dough, and her entire demeanor was so radiant, so serene, that the young man froze in his tracks. "Good afternoon," the old woman greeted him warmly. "What brings you here?" "I wanted to ask you something," the young man began, his voice betraying his nervousness. "Why are you always so happy? Don't bad things ever bother you? Don't you ever feel sad or lonely?" The old woman stopped her work and turned to him, her gaze as gentle as the summer rain. "My child, I have known more sorrow than anyone should. If sadness could bring back those we've lost, I would drown in its depths. I, too, have felt the icy grip of despair, the suffocating weight of grief. But I learned long ago that holding on to sadness won't bring them back. It will only keep me from cherishing the moments I still have." Her words hung in the air, and the young man could sense the depth of her sorrow, the resilience of her spirit. He nodded slowly, understanding dawning on him. "So, tell me, child," the old woman continued, her voice soft yet firm. "Do you think happiness is something you find? A pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, perhaps?" The young man shook his head, unsure of where she was going with these questions. "Happiness," the old woman said, "is something you practice, you nurture, especially when the world seems too dark to bear. You see, when my husband passed away, my grief threatened to consume me. Day after day, I wallowed in self-pity. Then, one morning, as I sat by the window, I noticed a tiny seedling pushing through the cracks in the pavement. It was reaching for the sunlight, stretching towards the warmth. And in that moment, I realized that even in the darkest of times, life finds a way to bloom. That's when I made a promise to myself. Each day I would find one thing to be grateful for, one small ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. Sometimes it was just the warmth of the sun on my skin, or the sound of birds chirping outside my window. Sometimes it was a kind word from a neighbor or a helping hand from a friend. But I made it a point to focus on these blessings, to let them nourish my soul. Slowly but surely, these small joys began to fill the cracks in my heart. It wasn't easy. Some days the darkness threatened to engulf me, but I held on to those moments of joy, nurtured them like the seedling, and they grew. My joy grew. As she spoke, the old woman's eyes glistened with unshed tears. The young man listened intently, his skepticism fading away, replaced by a growing admiration and respect for this extraordinary woman. "Happiness isn't something you find waiting for you at the end of a journey," the old woman continued, her voice echoing the wisdom of countless lifetimes. "It's something you create every single day. It's a choice you make to see the beauty in the mundane, to find magic in the ordinary, to dance with life in all its unpredictability. You see, my child, pain is inevitable. It's as much a part of the human experience as joy. But suffering, my dear boy, suffering is optional. It's the extra weight we carry in our minds, the unnecessary burden we impose on ourselves. When life throws us a curveball, two paths unfold before us. One path is paved with anger and resentment. It leads to bitterness and despair. The other path, though often unseen and seemingly impossible, winds its way through acceptance and gratitude. It may lead to peace and joy. Which path you choose, my child, is entirely up to you. The young man pondered her words, realizing the profound truth they held. He had been treading the path of resentment, allowing his negative emotions to dictate his actions, his thoughts, his very being. He understood now that the old woman had chosen the more challenging path, the path of acceptance and gratitude. And that's what had led her to this place of profound serenity. The old woman, sensing his transformation, smiled and said, "Life is a tapestry, my dear boy, woven with threads of joy and sorrow, love and loss, hope and despair. It's in the skillful weaving of these threads that the beauty of existence is revealed. To ignore or deny the darker threads would be to diminish the richness of the tapestry. It's only when we embrace the full spectrum of human emotions, both light and dark, that we can truly appreciate the masterpiece that life is." As the young man absorbed these timeless truths, he knew that he wouldn't forget them. The old woman had shown him that happiness wasn't a destination, but a way of life. It wasn't about avoiding pain or shielding oneself from life's inevitable sorrows, but about finding joy in the midst of it all, about embracing the full spectrum of human experience with open arms and an open heart. With newfound clarity and purpose in his heart, the young man took his leave, promising himself that he wouldn't just exist, he would live, he would thrive. From that day forward, the young man began to see the world through different eyes. He started to notice the small, simple things that brought a smile to his face, the warmth of the sun on his skin, the sound of laughter echoing in the streets, the kindness of strangers. He cultivated these moments of joy, letting them blossom into a rich, vibrant tapestry of happiness. His life became a testament to the old woman's timeless wisdom, a shining example for all who knew him. And so, the tale of the old woman and the young man spread throughout the village and beyond, a beacon of hope and resilience for anyone who dared to dream of a life filled with joy, not in spite of suffering, but because of it. The old woman's laughter echoed through the ages, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, the stars still twinkled above and the sun would rise again in the morning, bringing with it a new dawn and new hope. And that, dear listener, is the secret to endless happiness. It's not a hidden pot of gold or a magic genie in a bottle. It's the simple, profound truth that joy can be found in the smallest of things, in the warmth of a smile, the embrace of loved ones, the beauty of nature. It's a conscious choice we make each and every day to embrace life in all its fullness, to find wonder in the ordinary and strength in the face of adversity. Just like the old woman, we must learn to weather the storms with grace, knowing that each cloud will eventually pass, revealing a sky filled with infinite possibilities and infinite joy.